Welcome to the ultimate backstage pass, the pulsating heart of the high school sports universe. Get ready to rock with the gang from the Corner to Corner podcast as they take their sports obsessions to new heights. Meet the dream team, Sean Kiper, Adam Muncy, Wes Crouch, and Daron Stevens, as they unpack the secrets, emotions, and triumphs that light up our local sports heroes. Whether you're gearing up for a game or unleashing cheers from the stands, get ready for an exclusive scoop that'll knock your socks off. It's showtime!
Welcome into another episode of From Corner to Corner, episode 385. If you were listening last week, yes, 388 is wrong. So here's 385. Rolling right along. We've got another exciting week to bring you here on the Coach's Corner, presented by Community Trust Bank. And we're right into the middle of softball season.
Middle?
Well, at the start, yeah.
I was going to say, they're only 4-0 and 2-2.
Yeah, you know. It's a quick season. So.
No, it's not.
But did you get the opportunity to congratulate the GRC boys last week? I didn't know if you got to do that or not.
We
had a whole mess going on last week.
We did not, because we did congratulate the girls being Athlete of the Week. Yeah. The boys had just happened, and with everything going on, we didn't. So
as we wrapped up the basketball season, the GRC boys also won the state title. Exciting game against St. X that battled back and forth, and GRC showed their dominance there towards the end. And a rare feat. It's been almost 100 years since Ashland won both the boys and girls state title, so it doesn't happen very a lot. So for it to be one of our core 4 schools, that's pretty cool. For us to be able to do that.
Let me write that one down. It doesn't happen very lot.
Yeah. Very lot is the new word of the day. Sean Kiper.
Doesn't happen very lot.
Sean Kiper, word of the day, brought to you by CRC Roofing and Renovation.
English is hard.
Why waste all those syllables? That's a lot of extra work.
That's probably one that's on that soccer term sheet.
That needs to go on the T-shirt. It doesn't happen very lot.
Those T-shirts will be available on our Facebook page.
You've been off the show for almost 2 weeks. Welcome back.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Very lot.
I was off the show very lot. So
you were.
That's going to be a new one now. All right, so let's talk about the rookie week that was.
Yeah.
Like I said, softball and baseball is underway. So let's look at softball from last week. This is for week 2. Bath County 1-2 last week, and are now 4-4 on the season. GRC girls had a big time week last week, went 4-0, and is now 7-0 on the season. So definitely got a solid team going over there. Menifee County 2-2 last week, 3-3 on the season. So their season
and got their first game in on their brand new facility.
Yeah.
It looks incredible. Yeah,
it does. It looked really, really good. And then Moco 3-2 last week, 5-4 on the season. And for Coach Hart to have such a young team.
Yep.
They've been putting up some points.
They've been playing pretty well.
So I saw they've had 220 run games. So that's a lot when you have a young team.
I'd say they've got some speed, because I've only seen maybe 3 or 4 home runs total in all the games. So I'd say they got some speed, and they're playing small ball. So nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then for baseball, Bath County 3-0 last week, 6-1 on the season. We had them on the show last week. GRC 1-2 last week, 2-2 on the season. Menifee 1-2 last week, and they're now 1-4 on the season. And then Moco 3-1 last week, 6-1 on the season. Their first loss was to Central Hardin on Saturday in the part of a triple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, triangle.
A triangle, yeah. So everybody played everybody twice. So,
right.
So it took a second game in a day for them to finally lose, and they only lost by 1 run.
Right.
So coach has definitely got them playing some great baseball right now.
Yep.
So exciting to see that for sure. So, and then of course, the reason we have our guest here tonight is.
You know what? Wait a minute. We forgot. I just realized that track has also started.
Okay.
And Montgomery County won the Mayor's Cup, which they have up here, and they also won their last meet that was just this last weekend. So they're 2-0 on the season and have won as a team for the last 2 weekends. So I think Menifee County came in second on the Mayor's Cup, and then I think Menifee and Bath were there again this last week. So, but Montgomery County did win both of those track meets.
Very good, very good. And then, like I said, the Montgomery County archery team, the girls, they're here tonight with us, along with Coach Scott Allen. They qualified for state. So we're going to take our quick commercial, say thanks to a couple of our sponsors, and then we're going to come back and talk to Coach and the girls. You are watching the From Corner to Corner podcast with the Community Trust Bank Coaches Corner. We'll be right back.
At Rumpke Waste and Recycling, family is at the heart of all we do. Our name is on every truck, every container, every facility. And we take pride in what our family name represents. Friendly, reliable service. Families trust us. Businesses trust us. Communities trust us. And you can too. Learn more about our family business and the important work we do at Rumpke.com. Rumpke. Waste and recycling done right.
Anthony is using Community Trust Bank's mobile banking with Zelle to have the driveway shoveled, his part of the big lunch meeting, and the birthday gift for the niece that was due yesterday. That means Anthony made it on time to watch the big game and see the home team score the winning shot. Mobile banking with Zelle at Community Trust Bank. Fast, easy, and secure.
Community Trust Bank. Building communities built on trust.
We are back here live with the Montgomery County archery team. We've got Coach Scott Allen sitting here beside me. And then following down the table, we got Hailey Anderson, a junior, Allie Jones, a sophomore, and Micah Dalton, a junior as well. So, Coach, girls, thank you all for joining us here on a bright, beautiful Monday. The weather chose to be good today. You know, it's in that Kentucky Rolodex as to what the weather is going to be like on a daily basis. So, Coach, the reason we had you on is you guys have qualified for state in the KHSAA, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because just like we was talking about in commercial, there's two different programs. There's the KHSAA and then there's NASP. What does that stand for?
National Archery in Schools program. That usually runs, from about November on through the end of January, early February. And then KHSAA only has regional tournaments and state tournaments. So, you kind of spend most of your season doing NASP tournaments and qualify for, they have state as well, nationals, and they even have worlds. So NASP is in about 5-6 countries now, unless some more have added on that I don't know about.
So I'm going to ask a dumb question. Why is there a need for two different programs and followed up with why is KHSAA only regional and state? I mean, how do you determine who gets to regions?
Well, every school is able to go to regions. And as far as NASP goes, archery started, school archery started in Kentucky. It was kind of a collaboration with the Department of Fish and Wildlife and, some school administrators that was looking for something other than, standard sports that everybody's used to, something to bring in some other kids. And NASP started, and then KHSAA started recognizing it later on, fairly quickly. I don't know if you guys remember Tommy Floyd that was a teacher here. Tommy Floyd is the president of NASP.
Okay.
So he was a great teacher, and then I get to see him 2 or 3 times a year. Had him for science back when I was in high school. I won't tell you the dates of that to the girls.
Listen, you're fine. It's okay. I had Floyd too. So yeah, no problems. You're not that old.
But they think we are,
Oh yeah,
that is.
That's funny. So NASP is not like a qualification to get to the regional part. It's like literally just everybody gets to be a part of the KHSAA regional.
Right. Early on, I think, and it was really before my time of coaching. I think they may have run them together a little bit more than what they do now, but it's kind of separate. KHSAA wants their own platform. NASP goes from 4th grade all the way to 12th.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, KHSAA is 7th through 12th like any other sport. As we compete, it's kind of hard to compete against some of the other counties that, start in 4th grade because, when I started coaching, we only took 7th and 8th graders. Now I talked to the athletics group, and now we take 6th graders, which gave us an extra year of a lot of times their 6th grade year they get to where they work the bugs out of how it works, so to speak. But some of those other schools that start in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and they've got 3 years on us, so they're fairly good shooters by the time they're in middle school. It's like we're starting a year behind, but we've had some great kids that's come on. Hailey's one of my standards. I've been coaching her for 5 years, but the other 2 girls that I've got with us started last year, and they're already, shooting at the top of the team. I mean, it's kind of, you get kids sometimes. You get kids sometimes that's just got natural talent. Some of them you got to work with, some of them you don't. And these 2 girls, it's kind of crazy, how quick they've picked it up and have become some of our top shooters every tournament.
I'm going to assume that KHSAA, not all schools offer archery, so you don't have quite enough like basketball, like football, to have a district and to have. So you have more schools. The schools that are available just go ahead and go into a regional and then go on to state from there.
Yeah. So like our region was, and I'll probably miss 1 or 2, but Harrison County, Bourbon County, Bath County, us of course, Fleming, GRC, Pendleton County. Mason County, we're all kind of grouped together.
Right.
We're not Region 10 in archery, we're Region 7, but, we've got a pretty tough region. I mean, Harrison County every year, they're one of the top in the state. They've won worlds and everything else. They've won as far as
like Harrison County's always competitive, no matter what sport it is.
Well, when you were talking about some of the schools start at 4th and 5th grade, we actually know that because Neil, that used to be on the show, I mean, he had a couple of his that shot at North Middletown in archery there, and with Bourbon County. So I was like, so you're just looking to try to get them to expand slowly but surely here. But even if just being that 1 year behind, I'm sure probably helps you. I mean, having all the middle schoolers and all the high schoolers. I mean, I've seen you all come into practice, and it's amazing how many people you've got or had at the time when I was when you all were coming in, the amount of archers you have on the team in the program. That's what I should say.
Yeah, we'll usually start each year close to 60, and then some will drop off. But we do run middle school and high school together.
Yeah.
Once it goes to NASP, there's a middle school team and there's a high school team.
Gotcha.
Until KHSAA, and at that point, any sixth graders I got are not eligible, and then the seventh and eighth graders play up, so to speak, like you do with basketball or anything else. But yes, we run about 20 targets wide in the barn, and the whole barn's filled up, and you'll see. I actually run an open practice. Let the parents of the shooters come in. And I ask them to bring their younger kids and stuff, and the reason for that is, archery's, it's a mental game. It's about 90% mental, 10% physical, and with those parents being in the stands and their 4 or 5 year old brother and sister rolling up and down the bleachers and making noise and playing ball and everything, it gets them used to having that noise and commotion behind them.
Hold directly into my next question, because I was going to ask the girls with 60 of them there, or somewhere between 40 and 60 people there at the same time, and you all are trying to practice with 20 targets set up, because you all have got to have enormous amount of space just to practice, I'm going to guess. But with all those students there, is it hard to concentrate sometimes even in practice, or do you all use that to your advantage, because it's going to be like that regardless in competitions?
Well, I think it helps having everyone there, because once we do get to the NASP competitions, you have hundreds of targets lined up. So, our practices are pretty small to some other competitions that we do, mm-hmm. So it does really help having that noise, having everyone around you, just so you do get used to it. You don't, psych yourself out once it comes to competition.
Hailey, how mental is it for you? Do you try to concentrate as much as possible? Do you get distracted every once in a while, or is it you just got to go with it?
I can tell you, I've been shooting 5 years, and I'll still walk into a tournament and get nervous.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mind sport.
Yeah.
I believe that we go out there, though, and the physical part does play into it, but it really depends on your character and mm-hmm. what you're doing and what you're thinking. If you think hard enough, I can do this, you're going to do good.
So Micah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's not just people in the background, parents being there, and stuff, but when you all have enough targets set up, like Allie said, 100 targets set up, it's the noise of everything around you. Arrows hitting the targets, and everybody's shooting almost at once. Probably not quite, but that's got to be kind of distracting also.
I like the sound of it more
than
other people talking behind me, because I don't really know. The talking psychs me out whenever we're at the big competitions, and just listening to the arrows hit the targets, they help me.
Okay, can you tell the difference between good shots and not?
Yes.
Really?
I can. Whenever
yeah, because when the other one's going thump, 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 thump when it hits the ground, they missed.
So what happens with a new target? They're all hard,
Yeah.
And as you start using them, the center gets wore out. So,
right.
If you make a bad shot, it sounds like you've hit a plywood wall, and then when you make a good shot, you barely even hear it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you can tell. Even coaching them, if they say, "Hey, I'm having trouble," if I turn away from them, I can hear where they're, if they're making a good shot. Usually after they all targets get wore down. So
how many shots are we talking about in a competition day is everybody taking?
So there is 5 practice shots at 10 meters, and then you do 3 5-shot rounds, and then they move back to 15 meters. They'll do 5 practice shots at 15 meters, and then 3 5-shot rounds at 15. So 30 scoring shots.
Yeah. So 40 shots per person.
Yes.
There's a lot of people there.
And at practice, we start and we shoot for an hour and a half. And I'm on them fairly often to, not sit down. And it's for muscle memory more than anything, getting used to doing it. And, honestly, most of them, they shoot and don't stop.
Now, if I remember correctly from the last time you guys were on the show, there are, all the equipment has to be, the same, right?
Yep.
It's kind of supposed to be like NASCAR, right? And Not everybody can just make up their own rules and use their own different bows and stuff like that,
You
right?
stole my. I thought about that before I got here. You stole my my matchup there. I was gonna say, now that NASCAR went to the next gen, I was gonna say me and Daron and leave you out of it.
What are the chances?
And since NASCAR brought the next gen, it's like you find your better drivers, or in this instance, you find your best shooters because everything is the same.
So, in a hunting situation, you've got guys that like Matthews bows, or they like Hoyt, or, Bear archery. Mm-hmm. No, with school archery, you're only allowed a Matthews Genesis bow. You can't, the only thing you can change on the bow is the string. You can change string colors, that's it. I have to hand tie the nocks on. You can't put metal nocks because they're afraid of those flying off. There's no sights, there's no stabilizer, nothing. As far as the arrows go, you have to have Easton 1820 arrows. You can, however, change the fletchings. You can get somebody to make custom arrows, and that's it.
What's fletching?
Feathers.
Okay. I assumed that's
that?
what it was, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, the feathers.
So Wes, how we always ask about the team shoes. Here we're trying to find out what color their arrows are and what color the strings are.
This is very true.
Stuff like that. True. So
I think the biggest thing that gets in the kids' heads when they're shooting is, some of the kids, I'll provide arrows. That we've got a booster club, and they're good to us, and they make sure we have all the funds we need for everything. But some of the kids, prefer to have their own equipment, not only the bow, but they have their own arrows. And to step up at the line, and you can't shoot. There's 2 kids at a target each tournament. You can't shoot 2 sets of black arrows because there's no way to score them, right? So they get to the line with their own equipment, and then, hey, I need to change arrows and go to it. Really, that goes back to that mental game. And we honestly we had a slow start this season at the beginning, and I've got to take all the blame for that because everybody wants the next great thing, and honestly, in 6 years, they never changed anything with NASP, and they made a new rest. It was going to be the best thing ever, and it just didn't turn out that way. And I had put it on, probably 2/3 of the kids' bows, and they'd be shooting good, shoot a tight group, and all of a sudden they'd have one, what we call a flyer.
Okay, back up. What a rest?
Rest is what the arrow goes on. Sits
okay.
All right.
We just found out why some of the kids dropped out, though. Those random arrows, they just started taking the kids out.
It was bad coaching. So what would happen, they'd shoot a tight group, and then their 5th arrow would fly, to the corner of the target, and we're trying to figure out why. Well, that rest wasn't very forgiving. It was solid. The other rest would break away when the arrow hit. So if the kids wasn't in their mental game to check those arrows, then the fletchings, feathers would hit and knock the arrow off. So probably the last month of the season, I took every one of those rests off and put the old style on, and our score jumped about 100 to 150 points for the team. So
isn't that just aggravating?
Yes.
Because you're like, what in the heck is going on? And then, obviously it takes a little bit of, work to figure that out, but that's interesting.
And looking across the state, most of the people that tried those have took them off. So I don't think they were as big of a hit as they thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
So Hailey, it's not just mental and focusing in on the target. I mean, just like Coach said, you've got to know your equipment.
Yeah.
And I mean, and make it to where you like it, even though everybody's, the same. Make it to where you like it and you're comfortable. And I mean, how often during a competition do you, check your equipment other than, going in, going up to the line, having your equipment there, but while shooting? How often do you have a routine that you do every time you shoot to make sure your equipment's even right?
I'm gonna tell you, Scott gets on to us every practice to check our arrows, and I'd say about 45% of us do. So it really depends on the person that's shooting. Where I've been shooting so long, I've gotten to a habit of making sure that my arrows aren't going to hit or that they're straight before they fly. Now, some of the new kids, they don't, and then they'll have one go, whoo, and then it's just, so it's really just dependent on you and Scott. Make sure he's on to you about it.
So, Allie, you shot a 282, is that correct?
286.
280. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's.
Don't be slacking
I
her 4 points.
better not be slacking. So you shot a 286.
Yes.
Was the high point for our team at Region, correct?
Yes.
So when you get into the groove of, and perfect is 300, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So when you get into the groove of shooting a high score like that, on top of, trying to check arrows, do you even, after a couple of shots, do you even worry about that? Is it just like in basketball, they'll talk about how somebody, they'll get hot and it's just like the rim becomes as big as the ocean. They can just throw it in just wherever they want to shoot it. Do you get in that groove of, I've hit a couple shots really good, and I'm just going to pick this arrow up, and I'm not even going to worry about anything. I'm just going at it.
Actually, it just, makes me so nervous because, I feel like I'm going to do good, and then I'm worried that, I'm not going to do good the next shot. But, I just kind of have to, repeat to myself, I know how to do this. I obviously know how. I have, good arrows going in. I just can't, change anything. I got to keep it the same so I don't, mess myself up by overthinking.
So, out of your, the 286, are the distances scored differently, I assume? Like the 10 and the 15, or
no, it's the same.
It's the same.
So it's got 10 rings on the target. Okay. So it's 1 to 10. Bullseye's 10. It's just the factor of the distance is the only thing. So you'll see very tight groups at 10 meters, and then when they move back, the groups tend to get larger.
So on your opportunity of perfection there, did you score obviously better on the 10 than the 15? Is that kind of how that works?
Yeah, so on 10, for each of my 3 rounds, I scored a 49 out of 50. And then for my 15, I only got 149, and the rest were about 48, 46, around there.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like throwing a baseball from the pitcher's mound and then throwing it from the outfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you said that there's 2. I'll wrap this question up, and then we'll go to commercial. You said there's 2 shooters on each target. They're alternating shots, I assume?
Not necessarily. They can shoot at the same time. They're allowed 2 minutes to shoot. If they can't shoot all 5 of their arrows in 2 minutes, they'll stop them or disqualify them. So, some kids that don't bother to have somebody shooting at the exact same time they do, but then you'll have some that will actually wait a few seconds to let the person next to them shoot. So it's just the time frame.
And the bullseye is big enough for 6 arrows to go in?
The bullseye is probably the size of the bottom of this bottle. The 10 ring.
That's impressive.
And then each ring out from that's in the just a little over an inch larger each time.
All right. Well, let's take a quick commercial break. I'm intrigued. We'll talk a little bit more to the girls when we come back. You are watching From Corner to Corner podcast. This is Community Trust Bank Coach's Corner. We'll be right back.
If you're driving by and see that light, stop on in, get your colors right. It's more than gear, it's your story design. At Incoviv Designs, every thread's a sign.
Spring is here. Are you sure your roof is ready for the rain? Winter weather can leave behind hidden damage like loose shingles, cracked flashing, and clogged gutters, all of which can lead to costly leaks. At CRC Roofing and Renovations, we provide expert spring roof maintenance, leak prevention, and repairs to keep your home safe and dry. Don't wait until water damage ruins your home. Call CRC Roofing and Renovations today at 859-327-3913 or visit our website to schedule your free spring roof inspection. Protect your home with Central Kentucky's trusted roofing experts.
When you can't fit the car in the garage anymore, or the guest bedroom is overrun with junk, it's time for a Rumpke open-top dumpster. Rumpke offers open-top dumpsters in a variety of sizes and are often delivered the next day. You fill the container with unwanted material on your schedule, and Rumpke takes care of the rest. Don't wait to reclaim your space. Contact the Waste and Recycling experts at Rumpke today. Rumpke, Waste and Recycling, done right.
At Keystone Financial Group, we focus on what's important, you. As an independent firm, we have access to a wide range of financial services and objective research to help ensure your wealth is proactively managed. Call Joel Godby or John Morton today at Keystone Financial Group, 859-432-1084 for your local retirement and investment advice.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Keystone Financial Group, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
This segment is brought to you by Jacobs Vision Center, helping you see the game and life more clearly. From eye exams to stylish frames and contact lenses, their team is dedicated to keeping your vision at its best. See the difference with Jacobs Vision Center in Mount Sterling. All right, we are back here with Moco Archery, the girls team, going to state tournament. And then also you said nationals in the other one too, right?
Yeah, NASP, we're going to nationals. That's in May. My goal for next year, I want to take them to Worlds, and that's usually at a beach town. You know, if they get to the point that we're able to do that, and that pretty much means that every kid on the team has to shoot a 260 or higher. I think you qualify for.
So where's nationals at?
Nationals is in Louisville. State was in Louisville. You know, like I said, NASP.
No wonder you want to go to World so you can get out of the state.
NASP started in Kentucky, so you know they have two nationals. They have an Eastern Nationals, which is Louisville, and they have a Western Nationals. It's Utah or somewhere. I'm not for sure where it's at.
Boring.
I think he
it's
wants.
not here. That's all I know.
Where's Daytona Beach at, right, girls?
I was going to say, Hailey and Mike are like, listen, it's our senior year next year. Can we figure out where Worlds is and if it can be on the beach?
San Diego.
Allie's not against that either.
Worlds is always on the beach. It's they usually one year it's Myrtle Beach and next year it's Daytona.
Okay.
I think he wants to go to Worlds because he wants that free paid vacation.
Hey, so, now the question is do they put the targets out on the beach and you got that ocean breeze that you got to deal with when you're shooting at the targets?
If you're on the beach, nobody cares, right?
That would be the fun part. So Allie, let me ask you this question. He said that you just started shooting last year.
Yes.
So why out of the blue did you decide to start shooting targets?
Okay, so I had gym class, and Scott came in with all the targets and everything, and I just thought it was really cool, so I just showed up, and he let me be on the team.
About as simple as it gets, right? Did you do the same thing?
Well, I didn't make the volleyball team last year, so I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to do archery for a while, so I just joined.
It's Bradley's loss, isn't it?
So to qualify to be a NASP school, you have to teach it in school.
Okay.
So if you don't have PE teachers, of course I'm not a teacher. I work as an engineer in a factory during the day. But if you don't have PE teachers that's certified to be an archery instructor, then a coach is allowed to come in, and I'll go in one day a year. Take a vacation day and teach all the PE classes that day.
Okay.
Set up, I've done both McNabb and the high
And
school.
you can get away with it with just one day?
Yes.
So there's rules, but it's not.
Listen, you weren't supposed to say that on air.
He said it first.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of hours you're supposed to teach, but doing both teams together and doing it two days.
So who's the PE teacher? Is that Jordan?
Jordan's one of them.
Come on, Jordan, what are you doing? You can practice free throws.
Listen,
You can
now that would
practice
be
arrows.
that would be something. Is if you get Jordan out there to shoot some. I think Jordan, we'll come up and do that live if you'll do it with Coach Allen. Let us know when you go up there, and we'll have Jordan shoot also.
Oh yeah, that'd be hilarious.
That's going to be great.
Yeah. I'd say with.
I bet I couldn't even pull a bow back.
You can't pull 20 pounds back?
Come on, man.
It's only 20 pounds.
Well, I could probably get away with 20.
I don't think it's going to stick in basketball, but it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That's a good question.
From doing construction projects with Sean Kiper, no, he cannot pull 20 pounds back.
I did have to come help pull this in. Me and Daron pretty much did all the work.
Well, I guided you through the door.
So is it 20 pounds for you all? 20 pounds? It's 20 pounds across the board. You all boys, everything.
It's 0 to 20. So, if I have Hailey, I worked with her recently, and she was hitting about 2 inches, away from where she wanted to, and I can add weight to the bow, I can take it away and make that arrow move where you really want it to hit. So, usually if you add about a half pound, it'll move.
And we're talking about on the pull, on the draw.
Yeah. So about 15 pounds for me is the sweet spot to start everybody, and then we'll play with it from there to try to tweak it in.
So that seems like about the only thing that you all can actually really change on the bow is the amount of pull on it.
So it's the same bow for the elementary school kids
right.
as it is the high school kids. So the elementary school kids may be shooting 8 pounds, and I may on our team have somebody shooting 12, somebody shooting 15, somebody shooting all the way up to 20. Which isn't recommended, it just wears you out, during practice. But usually about 15 pounds, give or take a pound, is about, where I.
All right, so Micah, so where do you pull? What poundage you pull? They don't know.
15 pounds? I don't really
So
know.
I guess what I was going to say was, if you know where the strength that you pull, 15, 18, 20, whatever, you've got to make sure that that your bow is in a certain spot compared to the poundage that you're pulling, correct? Because, I mean, that arrow is not going to, I mean, the harder you pull it back, if it's at 20, the straighter it can go coming out of there. But if it's at 15, you got to make sure you're aiming a little bit higher because it's going to have a little bit of an arc. Am I correct about that?
Word of advice, if you don't know, it's always the max.
Yeah, so you'll notice, like,
I shoot 32 pounds.
at our normal tournament that we have, we only get regions every 4 or 5 years, right? But our regular season tournament, we'll have elementary school kids. And you'll see their arrows fly at a much higher arc than what the high school kids do, and it's just from weight. The length that they can pull the string back, there's a lot of factors in there that make, how straight the arrow goes.
Okay, so like Coach said, do you all just have blah strings, or did everybody change to pink strings?
I just changed to pink strings.
I knew Micah had pink. I knew Micah had pink.
What color's yours?
Mine's black, but I just bought pink ones.
Allie?
Oh, mine are just the regular.
Just regular strings? Well, we're going to change that. Yeah, we're just going to have to go pink across the board.
You're causing me a lot of work here.
Some neon yellow, that would be cool. Some bright orange,
Because like you
team
said,
colors, red, white, and blue.
We usually ask if everybody has team shoes. Well, I mean, it doesn't. Do you all have specific shoes for shooting, or because
Allie does they're pink.
I could see where positioning and not being able to move, when you're shooting, is a big deal. Make sure you're in that same spot every time. So, okay, do you all? Are you all allowed to wear guards or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
They can, and that's preference. As far as the shoes go, it's worth with the guys. They'll roll in one practice in tennis shoes, and the next practice they'll have cowboy boots on. And that just my son's the worst. It changes the height, of the way you stand and hold your bow, and it's just like shooting on the ground and shooting in a tree. For those that hunt, the angle of the flight it changes everything. But as far as that, I mean, you can use a glove. You can use wrist guard, because the girls are it's worse on the girls to hit their arm. It's just the anatomy of the human body,
I got you.
The way a male's arm, when you hold it out, versus females, their arms kind of turn, curve a little bit more than guys does. So they tend to hit their arm a little bit more. So you'll see more girls with things on their arms to keep from hitting.
All right, so how many times have you hit your arm, in competition and been like, that one hurt, but I don't want to show that it really hurt?
I have a bruise on my arm right now.
With a guard?
Without a guard.
Oh, without a guard.
We build them tough.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have any wearing an arm guard right now.
I can see where that would get in the way. It's just a I don't know, a nuisance to a certain extent.
When you shoot as long as these girls have, you know the way you hold the bow, what makes it hit your arm, what keeps it from hitting your arm, and they've got it down pat. Now, the younger kids, you'll see them with a lot of them with protection.
You keep hitting it, you're gonna be like, I gotta figure out how to not do that, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, being Mike and Hailey being upperclassmen, I mean, you all have a lot of younger people there. You all practice together. I mean, is there a lot of times during practice you'll have some of the younger ones come up to you and go, "What am I doing wrong?" That way, because coach can only do so much with all the. Do you all work with any of the younger ones and be like, you need to do this, and you do that?
Yeah, so there was actually a new girl and new boy that joined this year, and I got pretty close with her pretty quick. And I've been on the team for a while, so I got to get the gist of what I'm doing and what Scott's taught me. So yeah, I hung around her and I helped her and I showed her like our stance and how we hold it and what should feel comfortable and what shouldn't. So it really does, like, some of them, they don't want to talk to you. They only want to talk to him because you don't know what you're doing. He's more experienced. But some of them, they'll ask for help and they'll accept the help.
So the worst thing you can have is a boy come in that's hunted with their dad since they were 6 years old. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is the process of shooting a hunting bow versus shooting this with no sights, no stay. You got to throw everything you know about what you're used to out the door. So it's easier to start them from scratch. Mm-hmm. But from time to time, you'll get a really shy kid that's more comfortable with talking to another student than the coach themselves. So early on in the season, every year I'll kind of team the older kids up with the younger ones and let them work with them. I found out too early on it was all male coaches. And I'm nice to the kid, I run a practice in the way that, I don't have to yell at the kids. I mean, you get out archery, what you put into it. But last year we hired, or this was the first year that we've hired on 2 female coaches, because sometimes, honestly, the girls would rather talk to the girls,
Gotcha.
And both of the female coaches were my archers from past years. One of them's my daughter, and then one of them was a good shooter that we had.
Who are they?
Sophia Wright and Lexi Allen, my daughter.
Okay. We do have a comment.
Okay.
Allie has the Michael Jackson one glove going on. So you wear a white glove?
Yeah.
So yeah. So you get that Michael Jackson look with the one glove, white, all stark white. Does that thing if it's being white, does it get dirty?
Oh yeah, like my fingertips where the string is on there, like it's black. Like you can obviously tell. Like
I can see where a glove comes in handy though, because I mean, shooting a bow a few times is not. How many shots do you take at practice?
I have no idea. I just shoot.
You just shoot. I mean,
you shoot for an hour and a half.
So I can see where a glove comes in handy, especially at practice. And then once you get used to it, it's just like, I'm going to shoot my 10 arrows at a competition. I'm going to use because I'm used to it. So, I can see where that. I mean, have you all developed blisters or anything like that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I got my glove.
Because they can't use the trigger pullback, right?
They cannot use the release.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I feel like I remember us talking
so
about that.
There's really not a true archery glove. I mean, the archery gloves just go on your fingers, your 3 fingers that you shoot with and kind of go over. So what kind of glove you got?
It's a batting glove for like softball.
Gotcha.
So a good tight batting glove or a golf glove is usually what we recommend.
We figured out what they need to do. I figured out what they need to do now. They all need to wear gloves, and they all just need to bedazzle them. So they're just out there just sparkling away. Pull that thing back. Competition sitting right there, and you're just going like this.
I was thinking the same thing.
What is all that?
That would make it the true Michael Jackson glove. It needs some sparkle.
Ask them how much I like them wearing a glove.
Uh-oh.
These are the only 2 that
Allie didn't have to say anything.
These are the only 2 that I've had that successfully shoot with a glove that don't, if you pull the string sideways when you release, the arrow goes.
Yeah.
If you're right-handed and you pull it, then it's going to go left. If you're left-handed, it's going to go right. These 2 girls are about the only ones that have wore a glove, and I have not talked them into not wearing a glove.
So what you're saying is if they shoot it to the right or the left and hit the opponent's target, that doesn't count?
No.
Okay. Yeah, assumed that.
So they get a direct 0 when that happens. The big goose egg, yeah.
What he just said, Sean, is he chimed in when I said something about bedazzling the gloves. So no bedazzled gloves.
No.
So I have to ask about the uniforms. Your all's uniforms. I think of all the people we've had on, there's been 2 uniforms that have stuck out to me, or at least apparel. When we had Leonard on, it took me about 45 minutes into the show, I realized that they had the M with the feather, but the feather was bowling pins. Your all's uniform is by far the best uniform that Montgomery County has. I mean, with the Indian head, and again, yes, anybody that's administration that might be watching this, I am fully for Indians being on the apparel. So you all have a full Indian head with headdress and everything on the side, but it's a skull in the middle of it. It may be the coolest uniform you all have that I think Montgomery County has by far.
As bad as I hate to give the guys props, you know, some of our past coaches, one of them's his neighbor, Chad Jones, I think was the one that actually designed the uniform, and I've liked it so much that I've just not went away from it. And then Ralph Bailey was a past assistant, and you know, we went from the same thing in red on blue to blue on red, and you know, we've changed, but the overall design's the same.
Yeah, that's sick looking.
I wonder if you
did not
can
pay.
you send that to Darren?
I've already got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah. I did not.
Oh, look,
white glove. We know
glove.
who that is, don't we?
That thing is tight on that wrist. Look at that. She's got that thing velcroed up on there.
And the pink feathers, because I can't remember what he called them.
So
What you can't.
Those are fletchings.
Fletchings. Yeah, there we go.
So if you notice, the headdress is strategically placed for a right-hand shooter, so when they pull the bow back,
yeah,
you know, your elbow's up and the whole headdress shows.
Yeah.
So we'll have them lined up, and you know, they know the Indians are there when
that
those
logo is sick. That I
It's
really
awesome.
really like that.
What you can't see, Wes, is her fingers are purple because that.
Okay, is that
That
perfect
wrist.
form,
That is
Coach?
that is perfect form when they hold the bow correctly. You'll see a straight line from the hand,
From elbow
hand
to
gripping
tip
the
of arrow.
bow. Yes,
Gotcha.
and then the way they aim, they look basically through the string. It's actually called string blur, to line the string up with the arrow and aim with the tip of the arrow.
Was that shot a bullseye?
Probably.
You should know every shot, Allie.
Well, I mean, she scored a 286.
So let me tell you
Just
about
throw some
that. Let
numbers
me
out
tell
there.
you about that. Her previous best was the tournament of 4 regions, and it was a
269.
269. She jumped up 17 points during the regions. It's unheard of.
That's Showtime. Who that is down there?
That's what it is. Showtime.
Yeah.
So what is everybody's average here that you all, and just go down the line, what is your all's average that you normally score?
Can you all remember? All 3 of them's going to be on average the high 270s. You know, every once in a while, you know, they'll hit that above that 280 number, and then everybody has a bad day and they'll be down, you know, in the lower 270s. But I'm gonna guess all 3 of them's going to be around 278 for an average.
How close were you at regions with everybody shooting, you know, 260s to 280s or whatever? How close were y'all at region? Who won region?
Harrison County.
Okay,
For the girls,
and they're just they seem like they are always at the very top. But how close were you all, you know, compared to them?
About 100 points off for the team score. So that's 12 score or 7 scoring. So we take 12. The top 7 scores count.
Okay.
So if you have a kid that's, you know, having a bad day, their score may not count against the team score.
Gotcha.
So if you've got you know, a few cold scores, you know, to throw out, you take the best. But Harrison County, you know, they're kind of an intimidating force when they come in. They've got, you know, 10 coaches, and I don't know how many kids. I mean, they've got well over 100 kids. You know, it's crazy.
They don't have uniforms like that.
They do not. They do not.
Hang on, Wes. I got another. I'm still looking at pictures from this past weekend.
You're like, oh.
That's an intimidating shot.
Yeah.
Right, side by side with the skulls.
I'm guessing that's Bourbon County beside them with the gold and the maroon.
Probably, maybe. Yep. Yeah, with the gold. You're right. Harrison County's kind of that same color.
So,
not with the gold.
You know, the redheaded boy is a senior this year. We're going to lose him. The shorter gentleman next to him, it's his second year. One thing to say about, you know, these girls is out of the 12 that made it to regions, there's one senior.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to have 11 returning girls as long as they decide to return.
Well, I think they will. We've given them a lot of ideas on how to decorate their equipment and stuff tonight. So they're going to want to. They're going to want to come back and try that out, anyways. At least.
I don't know if y'all saw it or not, Sean, but anybody that can compete with a belt buckle the size of their head.
Oh, true.
That's a uniform. Right
so he rides bulls for a part-time gig.
I have been around that kid. I don't know. I can't even count the years. I was his Cub Scout leader with Chad Jones when Chad was in it with Dawson, and so yeah, I've been around him for a long time.
So when is state?
State is tentatively the 21st of April.
Gotcha. So not that far away.
No, it's at what they call it now, Central Bank Center in Lexington.
Oh, okay. So okay,
not too far away then.
Yeah. And what's the goal? So what's the goal for you all at state?
Do our best.
I'll tell you what. Let them think on that one. The goal for us is to pay the bills.
There is not. There is. No, there's not a national that I've ever. If there is, I don't know.
There's not. Yeah, not Cages to play.
Let's take our final commercial break here, and we'll come back and wrap up with Coach and the girls.
At Rumpke Waste and Recycling, family is at the heart of all we do. Our name is on every truck, every container, every facility. And we take pride in what our family name represents. Friendly, reliable service. Families trust us. Businesses trust us. Communities trust us. And you can too. Learn more about our family business and the important work we do at Rumpke.com. Rumpke. Waste and recycling done right.
Anthony is using Community Trust Bank's mobile banking with Zelle to have the driveway shoveled. His part of the big lunch meeting and the birthday gift for the niece that was due yesterday. That means Anthony made it on time to watch the big game and see the home team score the winning shot. Mobile banking with Zelle at Community Trust Bank. Fast, easy, and secure.
Community Trust Bank. Building communities built on trust.
Special thanks to Brent Wehunt, proud sponsor of our Menifee Athlete of the Month and scholarship programs.
Hands clacking, bats cracking, fans cheering. We're never slacking. Corner to corner, you know what we do. Representing hometowns all the way through. 4 counties, one voice, one goal. To lift the kids up and let the stories be told. From the bleachers to the field, it's all heart. We're more than a podcast, we're a community part. From the corner to the corner, we bring the heat. High school pride, we're repping every street. Sean West, Adam, Daron on the beat. Mount Sterling made, where the love runs deep. scratch, no need to despair. Jacob's Auto Body, we're beyond compare. Custom paint so sleek, insurance on our side. 70 years of trust, we're your hometown pride. Jacob's Auto Body will make it like new. 859-274-7425 is the clue. Jacob's Auto Body, run the show.
I still can't believe she's gone. I don't know how we're going to plan all of this.
I know. I felt the same way when your granddad passed. The Kaufman Funeral Home really helped us get through it.
Were they compassionate?
More than that, they took care of us. They made us feel like family. They handled the entire situation from beginning to end.
At Kaufman Funeral Home and Crematorium in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, we're honored to walk beside your family with dignity and compassion every step of the way.
That's exactly what we need right now.
Kaufman Funeral Home, where we believe every life is a beautiful story that deserves to be honored with love, dignity, and heartfelt celebration.
All right, this segment is brought to you by Keystone Financial, helping you build a stronger financial future. Whether you're planning for retirement, growing your investments, or protecting what matters most, their team is committed to guiding you every step of the way. Keystone Financial, your foundation for financial success. All right, so we found out a little more tea there before we get into our athlete of the week and stuff there. You know, Allie says, Hailey, sorry, I'm sorry. Hailey says that her best score come with neon pink shoes, and I'm thinking, so why are you not wearing that every time?
Are you taking those to state?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Hailey with the pink shoes, Allie with the glove, and then so what is your lucky charm that you'll have at state?
I have two things.
Okay.
I wear these. This is gonna be so stupid.
It is superstition, and it is perfectly acceptable.
I wear these Elvis socks.
Yes.
Every single tournament. And the same boots I'm wearing right now, that I wear them most of the time.
Listen, Adam last year during the region tournament called the game in the exact same hoodie every night of the region tournament.
Every night.
Superstition is not stupid. It's the real.
His wife made him sleep outside by the end of the tournament. But
It actually stood up in the corner on its own, looked like it was still on.
Nothing wrong with having a little superstition and, socks or shoes, gloves.
Most athletes do.
Do you have something else other than the glove, Allie? Or is it just a glove? It's like that's your lucky charm.
I wear the same pair of jeans each time, but that's about it.
Okay.
What about you, Coach? Do you have any superstition game day rituals?
No, that's not me.
Yeah? You're one of the few coaches out there that's like that.
Stop. He's got his lucky rabbit foot in his pocket. He's sitting there going, please, shoot bullseyes.
I have enough to worry about. I gotta pull the bow bag and the arrows and all the extra parts, and that's all I'm worried about.
Sean can tell you I wasn't a shooter, but bowler, I have to put my thumb in the ball 4 times before I take off. 3 times.
He was very ritualistic when it comes to bowling.
That's not ritualistic.
4 times. You got to put your thumb in the ball 4 times, and you got to take 2 deep breaths. If you miss one of those, it's going straight in the gutter.
Yeah. He's not lying. That's what he was. That's for sure. So.
Well, I mean, good luck at state. And listen, they're trying to go to, just like Coach said, they're trying to go to Worlds next year. And you've got a group that it seems like that are really on top of their game. They're really shooting good averages and everything. So, keep your eye on Facebook. Anybody out there that wants to support these, support the teams. I'm not just going to say the girls, but the boys too. They want to support the teams. Look for them on Facebook because they've got their own Facebook page. You can see how they're doing. I know there's a lot of hunters, a lot of bow hunters especially. Follow their page, and they by come this time next year, they may need your help, or all the way leading up to that, they need your help. So
and
look
from what it sounds like, if you are a hunter, come in with your history checked at the door, because it won't matter.
Listen, I'm a bow hunter.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you all don't have any of the gadgets that hunters get to use with the sights and the grips and the releases and all that stuff, right?
Sounds like a good sponsorship opportunity for our neighbor right down here.
Shade Tree.
Shade Tree Gun and Pawn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now they owe us for that.
All right. Well, speaking of sponsors, let's get started with last week's Simply Secured Athletes of the Week. Will be our GRC boys basketball team. Congratulations to Coach Cook and the guys there. We mentioned it at the beginning of the show. A little bit of history there, winning both boys and girls state titles. It's only been done 2 times, and it was almost 100 years ago the last time it was done. So in today's game, I could see this happening way more often with the right kind of programs that are out there and stuff.
I'm thinking, depending on what those rosters look like next year, I could see it happening again next year.
That's true.
Because both of those teams were super dominant.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, this week's Simply Secured Athlete of the Week nominees is going to be all from the softball field. From Montgomery County, Miss Bella Baker went 9 for 14 this week, 7 RBIs and 7 runs scored. And we talked about them going 3-2 this week. From GRC, Lexi Burke, 4 of 9 with a home run, 6 RBIs and 6 runs scored. They were 4-0 this week. And then Menifee Shaddix Lewis, 5 for 10, a home run, 7 RBIs and 4 runs. And then from Bath County, Allison Gretz, 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 5 for 8, 3 RBIs and 2 runs.
That's a score.
It is a G, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyways, and then Wes, you've got our athletes of the month. We're a little delayed on that because we missed a week there, but this is our February.
I
athletes
mean,
of the month.
between the end of basketball season is our busiest time of the year. Yeah. Between doing games, we actually did the district tournament, covered some of the games at going up and getting game clip, covering the state tournaments with game clips and stuff. So we're a little behind on February, but basically these are the kind of the basketball season end of awards, but the athlete of the month for that season. So for the Brett We Hunt Kentucky Farm Bureau Athlete of the Month, you left a name off.
I thought you were giving me the choice.
No. You can't split up. In Menifee County, you can't split up Peyton Burgess and J.C. Jevidan because they meant the world to that team this year. And whether it was Peyton getting 20-plus rebounds or whether it was J.C. getting 40-plus points in games, they meant the world to that team. So that's athlete of the month, Peyton Burgess and J.C. Jevidan. And then Brody Parks, and he is a freshman.
Yeah.
Really torched the nets this year for Menifee County. So, boys team's got some up-and-comers on that team, but he played really well. So he's the athlete of the month for Menifee County.
And if you need any 3P or BP2 gear, contact Innovative Designs and they'll get it for you.
Jacobs Vision Center Athlete of the Month for Montgomery County, and we're just going full Terry here. Andrew Terry and Addison Terry really, Addie being a senior on that team, scoring 17 points a game, and Andrew, I don't exactly know what
he was right around 20.
He was a double-double, practically every night.
Yeah.
So athlete of the month for them. The Swartz Mowing and
Addie gets it. Sorry to interrupt. Addie gets it just for being knocked out and then getting to the hospital and saying, "I'm not done yet."
Yeah.
Still got a game to finish.
Yeah, she only missed one game.
Yeah.
The Swartz Mowing and Swartz Pipeline Athlete of the Month, Isaac Yulry for the boys team, and of course Bailey French just recently signed with Berea College to continue playing. They had fantastic basketball seasons. And then the Mays Law Office Athlete of the Month for George Rogers Clark. We went with Ryder Adkins and T. East, which was the MVP of the T. East being the MVP of the state tournament.
Yeah. He was also the 10th region player of the year.
That's right. That's right. So congratulations to all of them. Fantastic seasons, and some of them we'll see back.
Yeah.
Some of them we'll see playing college ball.
We did not have a People's Champ poll this past week because we knew we were going with the GRC boys.
Right.
There are some occasions that we've
not been in that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, by the way, our girls won the state tournament one week, and the boys won it the next week. It's kind of oh well.
Yeah.
We've had region tournaments and district tournaments, but we've never had a state champion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So those above will be this week's nominees that will drop out on Wednesday.
Okay.
What?
Who's Pickles?
Huh? Oh, comments?
Who's Pickles? Uh-oh. Jordan Perry has watched it. By the way, Jordan, we've got you locked down on shooting next year, and we'll be there to shoot that. But he said, "Let's go Pickles."
I don't even know this, so I better find it.
Well, in middle school, I brought a container of pickles to school for lunch every single day.
Okay. See,
dill pickles.
That's why we need people to comment, because that's the type of stories we like to put on the show.
Because that would never come out otherwise.
There's no way in the world she
would
ever say that.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize, Jordan. That's the stuff that people need to know every once in a
The
while.
red glow that you see in here right now is just her face. That's all it is. So pay no attention to that.
Jordan has watched this show enough. He knows what information we're trying to get. We ain't worried about the real stuff.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. So, all right. So next week, as of right now, Monday night, 6 o'clock.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'll double check on that.
As of right now, we're going to have Coach Travis True and GRC Tennis on the show. Has their season started, or is he getting ready to start?
Yeah, they're probably 6 matches in. Okay. 6 or 7 matches in.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I almost went there. Yeah. Micah caught me. So that's it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was waiting for it.
She was like, oh no.
And then possibly try to reschedule Coach Graham for next Tuesday.
The GRC,
if possible.
Clark County's on spring break earlier than we are.
So we may actually have a show on the 6th and the 7th.
Sure enough. You're right about that.
No, we can't do that.
On the 6th? Yeah. Gosh almighty.
We'll see Robbie on
that one up, aren't we?
We'll see Robbie on the 13th.
All right. Well, Coach, girls, thank you all so much for coming and spending some time with us on your. Oh wait, is it spring break? Not their spring break this week. Right?
Not this week. Next week.
Next week.
So, thanks for coming and spending some time. Good luck at state. We'll be watching, following along.
Is there a place to follow along online or anything like that?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll check and let you guys know.
Yeah. If there's a link, we'll put it out there.
If
that way people can follow along with their shots.
If nothing else, maybe we can get a parent to keep us updated how you guys are doing that day or something like that.
Damien?
I don't want to ask you to do that because that's a lot
be
for
there.
you. You still got to get the bows and stuff lined out for everybody. So
After this interview, he's got to change them all to pink strings.
He's like, thanks. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So
And buy pink
don't
team
show up
shoes.
with glue gun and jewels and.
Oh man! All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Coach, girls, it was a great episode as always. Episode 385 in the books. This has been the Community Trust Bank Coaches Corner, presented by
Sean.
From Corner to Corner Podcast.
Sean. We forgot during the week that was, congratulate Sarah Sturgill, signed with Midway University over the weekend. So congratulations to her. She has a very good lineage in bowling with her mom and stepdad.
There's a bunch of them going to Midway. I told you.
Yeah.
And you get to watch them if you follow the Midway bowling team on Facebook. They put their competitions live on there, so you can watch them.
Very cool. Midway's starting to become that
pipeline.
That pipeline school.
I heard that Saturday at the signing. So we're starting a Midway pipeline.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks again. We will catch you guys next week.
Roll Trout.
The From Corner to Corner podcast wants to send a huge thank you to all our amazing sponsors who help keep this show rolling each week. Your support lets us keep covering local sports, sharing stories, and building community together. We truly couldn't do it without you. Thank you for believing in us, and let's keep making an impact together.
The Moco Four Horsemen would like to thank you for listening to From Corner to Corner. Be sure to go out and follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube. Whatever podcast platform that you listen to us on, be sure to go out and give us a 5-star review. Thanks as always, and we look forward to seeing you next week.